It's opening weekend at Belmont. Today's feature, the elusive quality, where Commute returns to the site of his only win on turf nearly 2 years ago. A freak injury that was expected to sideline jockey David Cohen a mere 8 weeks turned into over 3.5 years. He continues his long-awaited return to New York racing this weekend. And one of the mounts he'll have is great stuff. Graded stakes winner on the dirt. Can he get it done on the turf? We'll find out in today's feature race, and we'll check in throughout the day at O'Neill's Restaurant in Queens. Paul LaDuca and Anthony Stabile are stationed there all afternoon long as horse racing fans enjoy some good times and, of course, this tremendous opening weekend here at Big Sandy. Welcome to Belmont Park Live, presented by Claiborne Farm. 100 years of doing the usual unusually well. We've come from Aqueduct now to Belmont. The weather's getting better, and it is good times in New York racing. Good to be with you. Greg Wolf alongside New York Racing Association handicapper Andy Serling. Always a great time of year when we transition here to Belmont, and a lot to look forward to this meet coming up.
Oh, no, I agree. This is the best time of year in racing. We get back to Belmont Park. You've got 6 months of Belmont and Saratoga ahead of you. The Triple Crown is coming up. Great racing, great atmosphere, nice crowd here at Belmont Park today. It's hard not to be excited.
Of course, June 7th through the 9th is that racing festival that concludes with the 150th anniversary of the Belmont Stakes, but opening weekend's going to be fun. We're going to bring you the late pick 5 coming up here in just a few moments. That will kick off May 5th, Kentucky Derby Day. Spend it here at the track, and a lot in between that's going to be very exciting here at this meet. That 42,000 plus already in that late pick 5 pool, the Naira Bets late pick 5, as we look at our races coming up this afternoon. Race 6 will kick off that sequence. A 50,000 starter allowance over the inner turf, fast main track. Turf condition is listed as good, and our feature, that is race 9. That's the elusive quality, 7 furlongs on the Widener turf course, and that is a wide open group. Let's check in now at O'Neill's Restaurant in Queens with Paul LaDuca and Anthony Stabile.
Thanks, Greg. We are at O'Neill's pub here in Queens, an old OTB now that is being renovated. An unbelievable atmosphere here. We got all of the feeds up, including the Naira feed. A lot of the playoff games going on too as well. You can see some football as well as some other networks going on. And today we're holding a Naira Bets party here in Queens, and O'Neill's Pub been a part of the horse racing community for a long time, and we're having a blast. While I'm here, we're going to talk to the CEO and president of the NYRA, Chris Kay. We left the Big A, Aqueduct, but we're going to talk to the Big A, Anthony Stabile. He's going to be doing a Derby seminar and a lot more goodies here from O'Neill's. Back to you guys on the set.
Paul, thanks. Why does he get all the great assignments?
He's really in his element there at O'Neill's. A lot of fans there for sure.
Well, get signed up. You can play along all the races that we are showing you by playing with Naira Bets. Go to NairaBets.com. Bet any track, anywhere, anytime from the Naira Bets app to earn the $200 bonus in your account. Use that promo code LIVE to take advantage. It shows up in your account in just 14 days. Go to NairaBets.com, get signed up, started, and get $200 in your account to wager as you wish. Track conditions brought to you by Piranha Fly Spray. Piranha in, pest gone. Piranha on, pest gone. Main track listed as fast. Turf condition is good. And we got a few on the turf this afternoon, including the race that will kick off this Naira Bets late pick 5 sequence. Mile and a 16th over the inner turf in this 50,000 starter allowance coming up as we approach the 8-minute mark to post.
Yeah, these are interesting races, the inner turf races, so looking for this. The favorite could be vulnerable, Greg.
Let's check in. The other member of our team here out in the paddock analyst, Maggie Wolfendale. Hi, Maggie.
Hey guys, and horses are making their way out of the paddock to the track here, and we'll check in with your current favorite. That is number 8, Uncle Gio, a horse who I've never been the biggest fan of. It took a while for him to break his maiden, and he has done good things with trainer Michelle Nevin. But he's a horse that consistently gets nervous. He does not carry his weight well. He is always like that, but he's never a horse that I'm going to take at a short price. One that is coming back off of a extended layoff is number 7, Not in Charge, for trainer Alan Goldberg. Now, this is a horse who had most of his success going 1.25 miles. He's going 1.16 miles today. I feel as though this is just a stepping stone, guys.
Maggie, thank you. Great information if you're trying to take a stand, especially against the favorite. Uncle Gio, 6-5 on the board right now as we kick off our post-parade. And it starts with Here Comes Your Man, Joel Rosario for Anthony Dutrow.
Looks a little bit on the cheaper side, but in reality is fast enough to be a contender and can get good position.
Never been off the board on the turf at Belmont, but has yet to win here as well. As we get a look at the 4 next, that is King of Spades, Trevor McCarthy aboard and off the bench.
He's got some races going back that are fast enough to win this. He has not been in great form. Maybe he needed a layoff.
Nuts for Bolts is the 5. Manny Franco rides for Chris Engelhardt. Just missed last start.
Comes off of a good second-place finish, but that was against easier.
Dylan Davis will be on board the 6. Buddy's Tiz right at his morning line of 10-1 right now, the 8-year-old.
Like Nuts for Bolts, he comes across off a good third-place finish, but that was against easier as well.
Not in Charge. 5-2 morning line up to 7-2 now, making his 4-year-old debut for Alan Goldberg.
My top choice in this race, he may want more distance, comes off a layoff.
And Uncle Gio, 6-5 favorite. Maggie had some negatives for him, and you're not too high on him either, are you?
Well, I think the best thing he has going for him is that Maggie and I have both knocked him in here. I don't like this horse. He's had too many chances and failed at short prices.
And this could be the lone speed of the race. Harlan's hunch, is he good enough, though?
He may not be good enough, but he does have a tactical advantage.
5-1. Trained by Danny Gargan, 2nd off the claim. Let's take a look at what you did here, Andy, in this pick 5 sequence.
This is a great sequence, Greg. I could have put $480 into it and gotten coverage, but it's either you're going to play for a ton or you make a smaller ticket and just hope you're smart. 1-7 with 1-9 with 6-7 with 5-6-9 10 with 1-5-9. It's a $48 play. Gives you a chance. We can get to that 9th race alive. Think we got a shot to make a score, Greg.
All right. Good luck. Get down in the Naira bets. Late pick 5 pool up and over 50,000 and growing. We'll check back in at O'Neill's Restaurant in Queens when we come back on opening weekend from Belmont Park. Stay tuned.
It's Run Happy in front. Limousine Liberal, Holy Boss can get him. Run Happy has won the Naira.com Kings Bishop by 4.
This successful son of AP Indy has sired 6 millionaires, including 2017 Eclipse champion 3-year-old West Coast. A dominant winner of the Grade 1 Travers and Pennsylvania Derby, West Coast also placed in the Breeders' Cup Classic and was runner-up in the $16 million Pegasus World Cup. In the sales ring, juveniles by Flatter brought up to $600,000, and his yearlings sold up to $460,000. Flatter, standing at Claiborne Farm.
Back on Belmont Park Live, and that is the Gandhi statue in Union Square, dedicated back on October 2nd, 1986. That was on the 117th anniversary of Gandhi's birth. Joined monuments to Washington, Lafayette, and Lincoln as a quartet of works devoted to defenders of freedom. Getting set for this Naira Bets late pick 5. There's the favorite, 7-5. Short price on a horse coming in from Gulfstream and who only has 1 win from 13 starts.
And that's an important factor. All those second and third place finishers are almost knocks on him because they're races he could have won. And I think it's also important to note, and Greg, you and I talked about this, the horse that he beat by a neck 2 races ago when he broke his maiden and won his only start, he ran in our previous race here at Belmont Park and was a mediocre second at 3-5.
Yeah, at a very, very short price. So that does not bode well for Uncle Gio if you're thinking about. And by the looks of it, a lot of people are probably singling this horse at that sort of price.
This is a tough race to single. Now, one thing I will say he has in his favor is Michelle Nevin, his trainer.
Real quick, to that outside post, how much of a disadvantage?
It's a bit of a disadvantage, but there's only 7 in here. He should be able to find his spot.
Approaching the 3-minute mark to post. Race 6 kicks off this Naira Bets. Late pick 5. Let's send it back to O'Neill's Restaurant. Paul LaDuca has a special guest.
Thanks, Wolfie. Obviously, with a very special guest, the CEO and president of the NYRA, Chris Kay. How about this turnout today?
You got to love it. You absolutely have to love it. You know, last year, in the years past, we tried to reach out. This year, we're reaching out to great bars and restaurants like O'Neill's. And, you know, it's exciting.
It really is exciting. And a lot of people have asked how they can come here in the atmosphere. You were talking about the atmosphere as well. You come here, you can watch a little bit of baseball, watch horse racing, and you can bet a little bit of Naira.
Exactly. And so the fact is, it's all about the entertainment. It's all about the party. And like today, for example, we have 1,000 people at a special craft beer event at the track. You can't make it to the track? Come to a place like O'Neill's, have a beer, watch our races. They're in outstanding high-definition quality. People like you are on the air. And you also can catch a little baseball if you feel like it. So it's all good.
It's all good. A couple Met fans in the houses as well. And it's just as easy as if you open up an account here, you get a free $20. That easy.
It is. So if you open up an account, you get a couple things. Right now, you get a free $20. And it's so easy to open up an account. We get to take a little bit of information, go to your phone, and boom, it's done. In addition, if you open up an account now, you're eligible for the $150,000 sweepstake, where anybody who is a Naira Bets customer gets 5 entries into the sweepstake. And one person will be selected. They'll have a chance to choose the horse they think will win the Belmont Stakes. And if they're correct, they'll walk home with $150,000.
I mean, does it get any better than that? The only problem is, Wolfie and Andy, we're not eligible for that.
Nope. No way, Jose.
I don't think I would want to be eligible for that. I'm nervous just thinking about who has that opportunity to make that play.
I haven't picked a Belmont winner in so long.
Yeah.
It would be a waste to give it to me. I think the person who actually gets selected has a better chance knowing that the field is N-1 throughout my pick.
There's a lot of pressure, but it could be a life-changing moment. That's a look that's a look at the favorite right there, the 8. Uncle Gio, who is at 3-2 remaining. Your heavy favorite here as we get set for the start of this Naira Bets late pick 5. And there is the 7. That is Not in Charge, trained by Alan Goldberg. He is making his 4-year-old debut on the board at 3-1. Meanwhile, with more on the speedster, let's go to Maggie Wolfendale.
And Greg, his job is not that easy, though, as he is projected speed on paper. This mount a 16th break on the inner turf course, when you're on the outside, you're even starting further back than the inside runners, the way that the gate is positioned. So he's really going to have to run to the lead under Kendrick Carmouche, but he does have the right kind of rider to get him there. Kendrick is a good gate rider, and he does elicit a lot of speed from his horses. Now, what I like about Harlan's hunch this time around is that he is a horse that had the propensity in the past to get pretty wound up, and today he actually kept his cool. He's sharp, he's keen, but he kept it under wraps today, and boy, he looks healthy and ready to rock and roll for the ever-dangerous Danny Gargan barn. Guys?
Maggie, thank you. So 4-1 on that lone speed outside. Harlan's hunch, can he get it done? 0 for 8 on the turf here at Belmont. Has hit the board on 5 occasions.
I just don't think he's good enough. We saw Danny Gargan with a lone speed earlier today as the favorite that faded badly despite setting a moderate pace. He's going to have to run much better. This is a much tougher race. Luis Saez will get him the lead. I just don't think it's going to matter at the end, Greg.
Look at the selections. Well, Paul and Maggie going with the lone speed outside. Annie, you're sticking with Not in Charge. Certainly Alan Goldberg can get him ready off the bench.
Yeah, Alan Goldberg has come to Belmont with fresh horses in the past and done very well with that. And that's what I'm counting on with a horse. I do think he will want more distance ultimately.
Over 83,000 in that Naira Bets late pick 5 pool. We are set to go. Send it upstairs to the voice of horse racing's Triple Crown, Larry Colmus, with the call.
And just a couple more to go into the starting gate here is Not in Charge. Takes his spot in line. Uncle Gio holding sway as the 3-2 favorite, walking up to the starting gate. And the last one in will be Harlan's Hunch under Luis Saez completing the line here. They're all in line, ready for the start. They're off. Very even beginning here. And it is King of Spades who comes out running well, but is joined now on the far outside by Harlan's Hunch, who grabs the lead. Harlan's Hunch to the front. King of Spades taken back inside of Nuts for Bolts in the run to the backstretch. Right behind them are Not in Charge, and here comes your man on the inside. Uncle Gio's a bit hard to control here as they head to the backstretch, throwing his head up and down. The trailer is Buddy's Tiz. The first quarter's up in 25.07 seconds. Up the backstretch they go. Harlan's Hunch up top, the leader by 3/4 of a length. Nuts for Bolts on the outside, second by 2.5. Not in Charge is third. King of Spades is fourth on the inside. Uncle Gio tracks them in fifth, 7 lengths off the lead. Here comes your man is next. Buddy's Tiz, last of them all, as they continue their run toward the far turn. 48.29 was the half mile for Harlan's Hunch, who leads by a length into the far turn from Nuts for Bolts in second. Not in Charge is 4 lengths from the front, running in third in the far turn. Then King of Spades, Uncle Gio on the outsides, getting going now. Uncle Gio's got 5 lengths to make up, being scrubbed on a bit there by John Velasquez, while moving 3 wide on the turn. Here comes your man starting to pick it up too, 6 lengths behind as they come to the top of the stretch. Harlan's Hunch off the turn in front. The lead by 2.5 lengths. Uncle Gio down the outside. Not in Charge is there. King of Spades, and here comes your man on the far outside. They still have to catch Harlan's Hunch, who comes down to the final 16th, but they're all closing in. It's a wild finish here. Harlan's Hunch trying to hold on, and 3 of them come right together on the wire. It was Uncle Gio. Here comes your man, Harlan's Hunch, in a 3-way photo finish. Not in Charge was fourth in 1:41.96.
Dead tight finish as Harlan's Hunch was trying desperately to hang on under Luis Saez. In the end, it might have been Uncle Gio.
Yeah, he might have gotten up. You want to see the finish over here. Let's watch the head-on, though, because something did happen with the 4 King of Spades, and it's there. Harlan Hunch came out, so he's going to come down in all likelihood, and there will be an inquiry. But the real question is, we're trying to watch the head-on, and we're going to keep our eye on the pan, is who the heck hit the wire first here? They're getting towards the... We're watching on another one right here, and Uncle Gio, I think, did get the job done with the one behind. Keep in mind this 10-horse here, there will likely be an inquiry and very likely be disqualification, and he probably finished third.
Now, got things exactly the way he wanted throughout the race, but yeah, did come out late. We saw it clearly there, and Uncle Gio winds up floating up in price as well at 2-1.
Well, it's because Maggie and I didn't like him, so that people didn't bet him, and Maggie and I both tried to do our job to put him in the winner's circle.
Let's head back to O'Neill's, get Paul LaDuca's thoughts here on a thriller here to start off this Naira Bets late pick 5. Paul?
Yeah, I thought I was home with the 10 here, guys, and the horse didn't switch off till late, but I'm with Andy here. Late, deep in the stretch, you could see the 4 had to take up and was compromised, and even the 7 as well. I do think Uncle Gio got the job done in the Battle of the Bobs between the 1, but I think the stewards are going to take a long look here for the placing third, and they might move this horse out of the superfecta being the 10 here.
So we'll keep our eyes on that. If he is gone, 8-1-7-4 perhaps?
I think the finish will be 8-1-7-4 if they disqualify the 10, because it appears to be 8-1-10-7 right now. And I started out my pick 5 getting beat a nose at 6-1. I'm bitter already, Greg.
That is a rough way to get beat. Photo still up, so it has not become official just yet. But as we take a look at it, the 8 definitely with his head down first.
Yeah, no, he was. And that was a great job, guys. The guys in the truck getting that head on up for the race. Because I think the most important thing, we want to see who won the race, but you want to see what happened with the 10. Because you know the 10 came out in the pan. You saw the 4 take up, and that's an indication. You could see him drifting. But that head on really gives the clear angle.
So still waiting on our order of finish to be posted here. 1:41 and 4 final time for Uncle Gio. That's just the second win of his career from 14 starts, and he certainly had to earn that one.
And he got a little help with the 10 coming out
That's
there
true.
because who knows? I mean, King of Spades, the 4 might have won that race. I'm not saying he would have, but it was close, and he was completely eliminated. This race was definitely changed by what happened with the 10 coming out.
Yeah, 4 ran a very good race. That horse was 8-1 on the line, winds up going off at 19-1 and runs a race like that.
If my friend Mike Beer liked this horse, and I got to think he's not happy. Anyone that bet him. Here's the inquiry.
So as we expected, inquiry sign up, and that is involving the 10 that we talked about already coming out. Unofficially 8-1-10-7. Looks like we are going to see, as we mentioned, a change with 8-1-7-4 being the order of finish.
I would bet both cents I have left in my pocket that this horse comes down.
We will make it official when we come back from a short timeout. You're watching Belmont Park Live. When we return, Justify. Can he reverse the curse of Apollo? We'll sort out the 3-year-old picture next.
An undefeated graded stakes winner on the track, Algorithms was the nation's #1 sire of 2-year-olds in 2017 by percentage of winners. His top runners include multiple graded stakes performer Rich Mommy, winner of the Grade 3 Sugar Swirl, multiple stakes winner and graded stakes performer Recruiting Ready, and stakes winners He Hate Me and Sunset Ridge. In the ring, his yearlings have commanded prices up to $220,000. Algorithms, standing at Claiborne Farm.
We are back on Belmont Park Live on opening weekend here at Big Sandy, and we are underway in our Naira Bets late pick 5. We still have a Stewart's Jockey's objection with the 10 coming out on the 4 horse, but we do know, as we look at the beautiful grounds here at Belmont, your winner is the 8. We know that much. Uncle Gio gets the job done, trained by Michelle Nevin. With more, let's go to Maggie Wolfendale.
Yes, here in the winner's circle with the winning conditioner, Michelle Nevin, and Uncle Gio, a horse that you acquired a little later in his career, and it took a while for this guy to kind of put everything together, but you've had a successful run with him, now recording 2 wins to his lifetime stats.
Yeah, it took us a while to figure out how he really wanted to be in his races, but Johnny's done a great job of getting him to settle and just timing it right.
I heard Johnny say that he had mentioned blinkers to you before, but decided against that. What was the ultimate decision behind that?
Well, he can be very rank early in his races. So, you know, blinkers is going to have a opposite effect of what we would want. We want him to settle, not to try to rush off and not finish.
And Michelle, just a little off topic here, but one of your stable stars, ballerina winner and ballerina of 2 years ago, runner-up. By the Moon, retired and now plans to be a mama.
Yeah, she was bred to Arrogate, so we're very excited to see what happens.
Excited to see her babies on the track. Enjoy this win here in Michelle.
Thank you. Bye.
All right, Greg.
Maggie, thank you. As you can see, that inquiry objection still taking place. A little surprised it's taken this long, but nevertheless, it will become official when it does. We'll pass that along. Michelle Nevin says finally found the running style that they want for Uncle Gio. What'd they find today?
Yeah, it's lucky. Lucky is the right running style. To have a horse in the front end eliminate 2 of her opposition mid-stretch and then to win by a nose. It's a very good strategy for Michelle, who, all kidding aside, I think is one of the best trainers in the game.
Absolutely. Does a tremendous job, and I would rather be lucky than good any day.
It never hurts, I'll tell you that.
2-1 on Uncle Gio. Here in race 6, John Velasquez aboard for the win, owned by Gerald Martin, by the way, 5-year-old by Gio Ponte. How good was he on the turf?
Gio Ponte was a terrific turf horse. The funny thing is that the best horse he's produced is the horse who, Dreyfong, who was a dirt horse, actually. But he was a wonderful horse, and, of course, second on the synthetic in the Breeders' Cup Classic to Zenyatta.
Let's take one more look here, as this has still not become official. Keep your eyes on the 10, still on the lead, and starts to come out.
Stewards, Wolf, LaDuca, and Serling took this horse down 10 minutes ago. Watching the head-on, I have no idea what's taking so long. Sometimes, to be honest with you, there's a communication gap or something because they have to be taking this horse down.
Well, look, they have to talk to the jockeys, right? They have to go through the proper procedures.
Okay, yeah.
We don't have to face the music like they do.
And they left it. They took it.
And there we go. There was a change. As we thought, 8-1-7-4. Now, new order of finish. 10-horse dropped down behind the 4.
Not a surprise, and that horse came out. The horse that's really unfortunate is if you bet King of Spades, you certainly would have liked to see if your 19-1 shot could have won. That was an exciting finish, and we've seen a couple of thrilling finishes today.
Absolutely. Great way to get our show started here on our first show from Belmont Park. You know what's right around the corner, by the way?
What is right around the corner,
The
Greg?
Kentucky Derby is next Saturday. It's amazing. It's already here. This year has flown by. But a lot of question marks, so many great storylines as well. We want to remind everyone you can play the Kentucky Derby with Naira Bets. If you cannot make it to Louisville, I was actually thinking about going this year, but I'm going to have to play through Naira Bets this year. Get online, get down, play it through Naira Bets, and make sure you get your Derby wagers in. And, of course, the trifecta, every year I tell myself, that's the life-changing play. Go after it big. I'm going to do that again this year.
Every year I tell myself, try not to lose too much in the Kentucky
That's
Derby.
a good scenario as well. I throw tons of money away, but it's all in good fun. There's nothing like having a few dollars. And if you have the winner, good for you. Well, here's our top 20 right now. Magnum Moon trying to do what Justify is doing. Both those two did not race as 2-year-olds, trying to reverse that curse of Apollo. And you may say, oh, there's nothing to it. Bob Baffert has said, look, I'll take a horse with ability over a horse with seasoning any day of the week, but it remains, if you're a 2-year-old that has some seasoning, it takes some to get a 1.25 miles this time of year.
First of all, who am I to argue with Bob Baffert? I mean, the guy wins, and I happen to agree with him completely. I think the problem with this is that the game has evolved and changed. These horses are starting later and later. It's much different scenario, so I don't really think that's a major issue. To me, the biggest issue, Greg, with Justify is he hasn't faced any adversity. He's had his first race, he was between horses, but in general, in the bigger spots, he hasn't faced significant adversity in his last 2 starts. And a 20-horse field, a big horse, he better not break slowly, because one significant bump out of the gate and it's over.
And I will say that, I mean, rarely he's so good, part of the reason he hasn't faced any adversity, right?
No, that is part of it. There's no question about it. Listen, if somebody said to me, who is the most talented horse in this Derby, I would take a very short price as Justify. Though Mendelssohn may have an argument about that as well, as he's a good horse too. But both of these horses are giving something up. And with Justify, of the 2 that didn't run as 2-year-olds, I think he's a much more likely winner, and I'd use him defensively. But still, I'm a little bit concerned. Magnum Moon, I didn't like his last race, Greg.
Well, Justify, he didn't start until February 18th. At least Magnum Moon started a little bit earlier. He started January the 13th. He's a perfect 3 for 3 so far. So look at his win in the Arkansas Derby.
He's a little more battle-tested, to be fair to him, and he's run well in his starts. But I don't like this drifting in the stretch. And to me, he kind of plateaued between the Rebel and this race. And I don't want that from trainer Todd Pletcher, because in reality, while Todd has won 2 Kentucky Derbies, and you can't take it away from him, the horses that won both won on wet tracks. I don't like this horse.
And there he is working on the inside there at Churchill Downs. We shall see. Two highly regarded 3-year-olds, but the way people are talking about Justify seems like already they've placed him just at another level than just about everybody in this crop.
Yeah, I think they're going a little overboard. You know, hype horses come along. This is a very, very interesting Derby. I know the one that Barbaro won had a lot of talent. He went out and ran the field off their feet. I don't know if it'll be that kind of year, but this is a good field.
Well, Magnum Moon, of course, one of those, but for Todd Pletcher, it's not just about his undefeated 3-year-old. Maggie Wolfendale has more on the Pletcher runners.
And this could be the deepest contingency of Pletcher runners that we've seen thus far, as he'll try to win back-to-back Kentucky Derbies. Taking a look at Audible, who will be the first New York bred since Funnyside to possibly take down the Kentucky Derby. His Florida races were very good. Now, an argument can be made that why Todd Pletcher's horses tend to run their best races down at Gulfstream Park. But this horse, he ran very well up here in New York as well. The thing is also, people are critical of his morning workouts, but you don't get paid to work out in the morning. He is a laid-back type of runner, but he really turns it on in the afternoons, and he really extends his stride quite nicely. And what I like most about Audible is he can be placed anywhere, and he's not the biggest of horses, so sometimes that plays out well for the traffic-ridden Kentucky Derby with 20 horses going around Churchill Downs. Todd will also send out Vino Rosso, and this will be, if he wins Vino Rosso, the only second time in the 143 runnings of the Kentucky Derby that the jockey, trainer, and owner have won back-to-back runnings. The last to do so, well, that was the infamous colors of Secretariat and his stablemate, Riva Ridge, winning the Kentucky Derby before. But Vino Rosso, connections have been high on this horse from the get-go. Took a while for him to get going, but he broke through in winning the Wood Memorial, as we'll see his latest workout, which he set the track afire, workout in 47 and change. So Vino Rosso, maybe he is heading into this Kentucky Derby in the right kind of way and hitting his best strides for his connections. But I want to see who Paul LaDuca and Anthony Stabile are liking over at O'Neill's.
Thanks, Maggie. We're holding down the fort here in O'Neill's, and I told you we left the Big A, but we got the Big A back. Anthony Stabile joins me here at O'Neill's, having a blast here.
Yeah, great day. Come on out, having a good time here at O'Neill's, and Kentucky Derby 144 right around the corner.
We're here to talk about the Derby, too, as well, and we're going to talk about good magic. You know, we're referencing Maggie talking about all the Todd Pletcher runners. Listen, he's loaded for bear. Chad Brown has good magic. I know you like him off the Bluegrass win.
I do. You know, he's coming into the race, Paul, like he did last year. A good race, first time out in the maiden race. Came back and ran very well in our Champagne at Belmont Park. Popped in the Breeders' Cup Juvenile. Wins the Eclipse Award off that. He comes back with a little bit of a subpar effort in that Fountain of Youth down at Gulfstream Park. Loved the way he rebounded and gutted out and gritted out that win down in the Bluegrass at Keeneland. I think he's coming into his best effort yet for the Derby.
You're seeing the work right now, good magic, probably the last preparation, maybe the last least tightener for this colt going into the Derby. Where do you see him sitting in this race with the pace in here, probably mid-pack?
Yeah, I think he's mid-pack. I'd be very surprised if at some point he doesn't get his head in front and make the lead, maybe even leads them into the stretch here. That would not surprise me. What's going to surprise me is the Juvenile and the Eclipse winner is going to be about 12-1 on the tote board come Derby Day.
And the real reason we're here is for the Naira Bets party that we're having as well. And the Big A, Anthony's going to have a seminar here next Friday. Tell us about it.
Yeah, we'll be here next Friday night, 6 o'clock. The Oaks is going to go off right around 6:15. So we'll watch the Oaks together, and then we'll have an analysis of all 7 Churchill Downs Stakes races for Saturday, of course, culminating with Kentucky Derby 144. Cannot wait. Nobody knows how to party like the Big A and Paulie Dukes.
Oh, wow. And O'Neill's Pub is where it's at. I already got outdressed by Stabile with the tie. This is totally not fair at all, Wolfie, but good magic. I think he likes him in the Derby.
Huge bounce back race in the Bluegrass for the 2-year-old champ. Going to be very interesting to see on that first Saturday in May what he does. It's official finally. Uncle Gio gets the win 2-1 as the post-time favorite to start off that Naira Bets Late Pick 5.
Well, he got the job done. A blanket photo finish. It was a terrific stretch run.
8-1-7-4 finish after the DQ of the 10 horse. We're going to take a break in the action. Gronkowski, no go for the Derby after spiking a fever, but the Derby's lost, Belmont's gain. He's bound for 150 at Belmont.
And they're off in New York. The premier state-bred program in the United States. When you own a New York bred, your horse can run for more than $44 million in purses, restricted to registered New York breds. And the New York program pays awards to breeders, owners, and stallion owners when their New York breds finish first, second, or third at New York tracks. We have the quality. Audible, no doubt about it. You have the opportunity. New York breds, get with the program. The best program.
Back on Belmont Park Live. Oh, the Bleecker Street bars. They know how to make mint juleps out there?
I imagine they know how to make just about anything. Not that I've ever been to a bar. But.
Maybe spend Derby Day out of the Bleecker Street bars if you're out in New York. Or come to Belmont Park. I think you'll have a better time here.
That's a much better idea, Greg.
Look at the field for race 7. New York Bred's maiden special. Weight 3/4 of a mile coming up in the entry right now. Mamo and Satisfy. Satisfy, the first-time starter of that group. 3-1.
3-1 in the entry. You've got a first-time starter with pedigree for Belmont and a horse for Bruce Levine, Mamo, that ran well first time out. The horse, though, that's really getting bet is the first-time star of the 7, Silencia, with Joel Rosario for Charlie Baker.
It was by Silent Name, who won the Commonwealth at Keeneland on synthetic and the Arcadia on turf at Santa Anita.
And this is a horse that's a short price in the double as well, so he's going to be live the entire betting.
Time for our paddock report. We're going to check in with Maggie Wolfendale. This report brought to you by Hillendale Farm, standing Curlin for $150,000. Maggie?
And Greg, we'll get to a daughter of Curlin in just a second, but the hot horse, at least as of now in the wagering, is number 7 in here. That is Silencia, probably the one who has, of the first-time starters at least, the least amount of pedigree to talk of, but she does go out for a dangerous barn in Charlie Baker. And I will say that she, of the first-time starters, looks as though she's not She looks as though she's run before. She looks race fit. She is keen. She knows what her business is about, and that is to, I would say, get out of the gate pretty quickly, and that's usually indicative of a horse that is taking early money, and she looks fast. She's on the smaller side, but she's very nicely balanced and just has that quick appearance to her. I wouldn't be surprised if she does run to the backing that she's receiving. Moving on to another first-time starter, that's the 1A, Satisfy. Now, there's some knocks against this filly. One, she's a 4-year-old making her first start, little late to the game. Secondly, she shows up wearing front bandages, so you can conclude that there's been issues with this filly that have kept her away from making her debut. She isn't bad looking, and she does have a pretty nice pedigree. She's a daughter of Candy Ride and a half to Rectify. It was a very fast runner that was owned by this partnership group in Parting Glass Racing. Looking at her here, she's a decent size. I like that about her. She just looks as though she's going to need one to really kind of strengthen up across that top line. So we'll take the wait and see approach with her. And same thing kind of goes for number 8, Padeus, a daughter of Curlin out of AC Ducey, who the dam was very good on the dirt. She could run short, she could run long, but I think that Padeus is a filly who wants to run a bit longer than this. She isn't getting Lasix for her debut, and while she looks pretty fit, she was a little bit green, and she just has the framework of a horse that wants more ground than what she's getting here at the 6 furlongs. They're on the walking ring, Greg.
Maggie, thank you. 9-1 on Padeus, who is out of AC Ducey. We'll have more on that mare in a little bit. We're going to take a break, and the action still ahead. Is there a better hunch play than Undrafted on NFL Draft Weekend? Wes Welker's 8-year-old back in action next.
Switches back to the outside. Exaggerator down to the 16th pole, but Exaggerator has turned the tables. He has won the Preakness. He has won the Travers over American Flag. Irish War Cry has won the Wood Memorial. Alice. Good Magic's gonna win his first race, and he's gonna do it in the Breeders' Cup Juvenile.
We are back, and this was last summer on Saratoga Live. Tom Amos taking us inside what it's like to saddle a first-time starter Lone Sailor, who little did we know would go on to qualify for the Kentucky Derby.
It's so amazing.
The race didn't back up well. So you know what, guys? The race didn't back up well. When the winner comes back, as well as the horse that was second and third, you're going to see that their silks weren't even dirty at all. But he actually makes up some ground in the end. This was a good educational debut for my horse. You know, now we have to move forward from that, and hopefully that happens.
Well, he'd go on to win his very next start, and that was a fun sequence that we had on our show last summer, and he probably should have been your winner of the Louisiana Derby.
No, he ran very well in that race to finish second in Noble Indian. Just to think, first of all, that was amazing footage, and Tom did an incredible job saddling the horse and talking to the audience, and I think it was a great learning experience. But to think that that horse went from there to the Kentucky Derby, it's really terrific.
Incredible, and very pleased that we got to show you that. We wish Tom Amoss all the best. He'll be represented in the Oaks and the Kentucky Derby, so he's got a big weekend ahead of him at Churchill Downs. Post-parade coming up for race 7 as we take a look here at Mamo, part of the entry, and here breaks from post 2 for Bruce Levine.
Ran well, actually, in his debut, or well enough. Chasing the pace is a factor here.
Other half of the entry, breaks second to the outside, the first-time starter by Candy Ride for Belmont.
Has a pedigree to handle dirt or turf. Actually, Maggie pointed out, though, firster at 4 years old.
3-1 on the entry. Second choice on the board right now. The 2, Downtown at Noon, 4-year-old filly by Noonmark.
Yeah, you know, has races last year that are good enough to give her a chance at a price.
15-1. Manny Franco will be on board. Look at the 3. This is Trini Ninja, Bisnath Parbu.
If they get hot up front, this horse could be picking up pieces. Gets a good rider switch.
Mark Hennig trains March 2 Madness. Equipment change, blinkers on today.
Might appreciate the blinkers after running in spots last time for an improved effort.
Big price. There's Finley at 36-1. Dylan Davis for Mary Alice Coffey.
36-1 will be much shorter than the final odds.
Sister Patricia is the 6. Has never been out of the money in 9 career starts. Still looking for that first win.
And actually the first time sprinting on the dirt against New York breds. Has tried them once at Aqueduct.
And it comes in from Laurel most recently. Silencia, we talked about earlier, the first-timer for Charlie Baker, getting a lot of attention.
For trainer Charlie Baker, where there's smoke, there's fire. This money has to be considered meaningful.
Paz de Deuce is the 8, another firster, this one by Curlin for John Morrison.
Significant pedigree, not only a Grade 1 winning dam, but she's produced some runners also.
And Kriya's Ribbon, one with experience, showed speed and backed up in her debut for Bruce Brown.
My top choice was under the gun from the inside, the debut after breaking a step slow. Now an easier trip stalking outside.
Well, let's talk more about this 8. We told you the dam, AC Ducey, multiple graded stakes winner, including a Grade 1 win in the Prioress.
Yeah, and of course this Prioress, many people will remember, this was the late Diane Nelson's, I think, lone Grade 1 win. And seeing this horse win, I believe a New York bred, actually, but definitely for these connections, it was an exciting day. And I was here at Belmont for this, actually, Greg.
She has foaled 2 multiple winners as well. Actually broke her maiden right here at Belmont in her second career start.
She was a terrific horse, a really good horse. And those Prioress races, it was actually the lone Grade 1 for 3-year-old fillies running the country, and they were tough fields. She was a runner, and as you say, has produced Preaching to the Devil, was a really nice runner.
10-1, right at her morning line here. Daughter of Curlin for her debut. $239,000 in a pick 4 pool, approaching the 4-minute mark to post. We're going to head back to O'Neill's Restaurant and check back in with Paul LaDuca. Paul.
Thanks, Wolfie. Everybody is getting ready for their pick 4, but I'm getting ready to interview the owner of this beautiful establishment, Danny Pyle. Danny, thank you, first of all, for having us. But an establishment that's been in your wife's family for almost 90 years.
Yes, it's been here since Prohibition, 1933, family owned and operated.
What does O'Neill's have that, people can expect and offer that I haven't already told them already?
Okay, well, as you can see, it's really sports orientated. We have private booths with your own TVs. We got high tops around the bar. We got VIP private rooms in the back. And no matter what you're craving, a porterhouse for 2, a burger, brick oven pizza, we kind of cover the gamut and we offer it all.
The free valet is a pretty good feature as well, Danny.
Yes, being here in Queens, parking is, pretty rough. So we offer free valet parking 7 days a week, lunch and dinner.
Is that what you were trying to establish? You were trying to establish a comfortable place to watch games at night, sporting events, and be able to bet the horses? Because I know horse racing is engraved in your family.
Yes, it was. It's been, throughout my family as we were growing up, going to Saratoga, going to the track, and we wanted to create something like that. You see families come in the afternoons on Saturdays, Sundays, and the parents are having fun betting the horses. The kids are watching a separate TV, some other cartoon or what have you, and it's a day out with the family.
It's a great day out in the family. By the way, I want to thank him for his service, a retired fireman from New York City.
Paul, thanks, absolutely. That is tremendous, and it looks like everyone having a great time out there at O'Neill's, and certainly here on opening weekend at Belmont Park as well. Beautiful weather for the first Saturday of the meet. Korea's Ribbon, one of many with experience in this race. Speed, first time out, and then backed up. And we'll see how she fares second time out for Bruce Brown. Let's go to Maggie for more.
And she did have a nice debut, Greg, as you were mentioning. And here with Bruce Brown, Korea's Ribbon, she kind of flip-flops as far as post position is concerned, Bruce. Her hand was a bit forced first time out from that inside draw. How do you feel about her chances now breaking from the way outside?
Yeah, it's kind of from one extreme to the other. But, yeah, last time she really, you know, she's got very good speed, but she has a nice long stride for a smaller filly. So, but we were kind of forced to rush her a little bit last time, so she was really being gunned the whole way. So hopefully today, I mean, I don't, you know, unless some of the firsters have some real speed, you know, she'll probably be either in front or close to it, but I think she'll do it a lot easier today just because we can play it both ways. If somebody goes crazy, we can sit also.
Now, talking about being a bit crazy, flashing back to last race with King of Spades, a little bit of a troubled trip, and he was the longest shot on the board. He looked great coming back off a layoff. How did you feel about him going into the race and the unfortunate outcome?
Yeah, I mean, he really ran good. We rushed him back a little bit just to try to, once the turf starts, you know, with turf horses, you really want to get him going. But no, he ran great, and it's a shame. You know, he's kind of been a horse that's had some bad luck here and there, and it's a shame. But at least he, you know, hopefully he comes out of it good, and at least you know, he had a good effort, and he should move forward off of that next time out.
Well, hopefully at Korea's Ribbon, she moves forward today for you. Best of luck.
Thank you. Thank you.
Greg?
Maggie, thanks. So hopefully a little better luck this time around for Bruce Brown. We'll see Korea's Ribbon. What do you think we're going to see from this horse? Showed speed in that debut from the rail, now goes outside.
Really had kind of the toughest situation for a first-time starter. A first-time starter breaking from the rail that breaks about a half a length slow has to rush to get in the race. Otherwise, the horse is going to get completely shut off. So you realize the rider, Kenner Carmouche, had no choice but to use a lot of energy. And in doing so, Korea's Ribbon got sapped. But I actually think that she ran very well. And now, with that experience under her belt, to draw the far outside position, it becomes a completely different story. She has experience. She has a good outside stalking position, and I expect her to run much better, and I think she actually ran fine in her first start. I think she's a good play, but I have to say, I'm very worried betting her with the 7 Silencia. This money
9
has to be
to 5
meaningful.
now.
Yeah. Charlie Baker's the kind of trainer, when he has a firster getting bet, I will be very surprised the horse doesn't show up. Now, doesn't mean the horse is going to win, but I got a feeling this one can really run.
There she is, the 7 Silencia. She was 8-1 morning line, has never started before. Obviously, word is out that she's down to 9-5.
And it's not like it's Jose Ortiz riding for Chad Brown or something with a $400,000 purchase price and a huge pedigree. This is a horse that did not have to be a short price for any other reason other than there being a big story.
So we'll see how she fares in the debut. If she runs to all that tout on the tote board, we shall see. Getting close to post time. I want to remind everyone, you can bet all the great racing content at the click of a button with the new NyraBets app. It's available in the Apple Store and for Android by visiting nyrabets.com. You have access to depositing, betting, watching live video, and replays all through the new NyraBets app. So 9-5 favorite, a first-time starter. Let's talk about the entry in here. Another firster. Breaks towards the outside here, the 1A Satisfy, and that is for Belmont, has Junior Alvarado aboard.
Yeah, I thought Maggie's point was very well taken about a first-time starter as a 4-year-old and wearing those front bandages. And as she pointed out, I think it was really good information. Obviously, a 4-year-old firster had issues getting the race to begin with, and now wearing fronts and not taking any money, because the truth is the 1 might be 5 or 6-1 on his own, so it doesn't seem like she's live at all.
Another look there at Korea's Ribbon. We heard from Bruce Brown with Maggie, 9-1 on the board. In her second start, as we go back there to the 1A. So out of a very merry moment, Satisfy, who has foaled 2 winners in dirt sprints, including, as Maggie mentioned, Rectify.
It's also very interesting how Belmont has these sensational numbers with filly and mare first-time starters. He doesn't do as well with the boys first time out, but the girls, he's done well with them in the past.
34%. That's pretty incredible. First time out numbers. And of course, that other half of the entry, Mamo, is a horse who has that 1 start under her belt. She was almost 30-1 though in the debut.
Yeah, but I don't think she ran badly in there, and she's another horse that could benefit from it. I mean, she was chasing the eventual winner, Kimura, who came back with a good second-place finish, and she was a hot firster for trainer Todd Pletcher.
Yeah, certainly showed ability, at least early on in that race for trainer Bruce Levine. There is the 1. daughter of Uncle Mo, ready to step in the gate. Start of the late pick 4 here on opening weekend at Belmont Park. All the money on Silencia, the 7, the first-time starter. Word out that this one could be a runner for Charlie Baker. We'll see if she can live up to the hype. Send it upstairs to the voice of New York racing for the call, Larry Colmus. Take it away.
Trini Ninja about to move into the starting gate along with Pas de Deuce, who is also one of the first-time starters here. Moving into line. Also coming up next will be March to Madness under Jose Ortiz, moving into the starting gate. Here's part of the entry, Satisfy, going into line, and that leaves the last couple of runners, Findlay and Crea's Ribbon, to complete the line here as Silencia continues to hold the favorite role at odds of 8-5 on the tote board. This first-time starter under Joel Rosario. And just waiting for the last horse to move into line here. That's Crea's Ribbon, Luis Saez aboard. And they're all in line. We're ready for the start. They're off. Slow to get going there was Sister Patricia. A fast beginning for Downtown at Noon and Silencia. There goes Silencia to take the lead and speed away by a length and a half early on. Pas de Deuce came out running in third, 4 lengths from the front. Then it's Trini Ninja, followed by Mamo to the inside. And then Satisfy and Crea's Ribbon. Break of another 4 lengths more. Back to Sister Patricia, who is caught up to Findlay. And March to Madness is wide and last after a 22.49 quarter. Silencia on top by a neck. Downtown at Noon, applying pressure, second on the outside, and Pas de Deuce is moving 3 wide on the turn. 2 lengths more to Satisfy, getting going from 4th with a 4-wide run toward the pacemakers as they come to the top of the stretch. 46.17 the half. They're into the stretch, and here comes Satisfy on the outside, who roars up to take the lead in mid-stretch here. And Downtown at Noon is now second as Silencia has given way. Then Pas de Deuce and Crea's Ribbon on the outside. But it is Satisfy under a hand ride here from Junior Alvarado. Looking good under the wire. Satisfy won by 3. And then it was Downtown at Noon second, followed by Pas de Deuce and Crea's Ribbon. 111.25 the final time.
Satisfy, first time out, so it was the other first-time starter. Impressive as could be, 111-1 final time.
And maybe because Silencia was taking so much money, they just disregard the other first-time stars, and they all actually beat the 7 Silencia. And Silencia, like a lot of firsters that get bet, had speed, but she faded badly in the stretch in here. But I got to tell you, Satisfy, Belmont understands how to get the girls to start out well, doesn't he?
And we showed you the numbers, 34% first time out with the fillies. Does it again, and the entry goes off at 9-2 in here.
No, amazing. I mean, you think that the 1 was okay, so they really didn't put any money in this horse at the windows, but boy, did she deliver on the racetrack. A decisive winner. And let's give a little love to Downtown at Noon, because keep in mind, she's the one that put the pressure on Silencia, who backed up to finish well back in the field, and this long shot held on for a very easy second here. Excellent performance by the runner-up, though no doubt the winner Satisfy much the best.
Yeah, wound down late. Impressive performance, so a very merry moment. Third foal to win in a dirt sprint for her.
Yeah, I mean, this record with Belmont is really interesting, and it's something our friend David Aragon had pointed out to me a couple of years ago. The dichotomy between his results with Philly first-time starters as opposed to Colts, the boys, it's just huge, the difference. Yet he's had a lot of success with both, obviously, later in their careers.
1A, 2, 8, 9. Paul, how impressed were you with Satisfy?
Well, I thought this was an impressive performance, guys. Obviously, time tells when it comes to handicapping as well, but to wait that horse circle the field, the Charlton Baker horse was very, very touted in the morning. So was the 8 to John Morrison horse. So this horse established himself as a nice horse here circling this field. I thought it was a great performance.
Paul, thanks. Worth the wait, a 4-year-old filly making her debut. And she does not disappoint. Junior Alvarado aboard for the win for Belmont. Parting Glass Racing. 1A, 2, 8, 9 finish, 9-2 on your winner Satisfy here in her debut for the daughter of Candy Ride. We're going to take a break in the action. We'll be back with more Belmont Park Live. Europeans have failed to make a significant move in the Kentucky Derby. Could this year be different? Led by Mendelssohn. We'll talk about it next.
Make Naira Bets your home for online horse racing and betting. Start earning your sign-up bonus right now. With Naira Bets, you can use our state-of-the-art website to bet on live horse racing at over 200 tracks around the world. Bet anywhere, anytime, using your computer or mobile device. Earn valuable reward points on bets. Build your bankroll with our exclusive promotions and earn cash rebates. Sign up now at NairaBets.com and start earning your sign-up bonus now. Naira Bets, racing's best play.
Back on Belmont Park Live, Spring Craft Beer Festival going on as we speak. And Andy Serling, did you just partake?
I just ran upstairs and had a couple of beers,
Nice.
so I'm ready for the second half of the show, Greg.
Where's mine? You didn't bring any back.
I drank it.
Satisfy, 9-2, first time out, 4-year-old filly by Candy Ride. Gets the job done. It does so impressively here in race 7.
Yeah, no, what can you say about that performance? That's one of the fun things about the racetrack, and this time of the year, you start to see some really good horses coming out, and we're going to see some nice performances from first-time stars, some 2 years old and some 4 years old.
Great to have you with us on this Saturday afternoon, our first Belmont Park Live of the season as it's opening weekend here at Big Sandy. Greg Wolf, Andy Serling. We have Paul LaDuca, Anthony Stabile out at O'Neill's Restaurant in Queens, and of course Maggie Wolfendale down trackside with all the reports from the paddock as well. We got our feature race still to come. That is the Elusive Quality ahead. Right now we're going to send it downstairs to Maggie with more.
And I'm joined by managing partner of Parting Glad Stables, Tom Gallo, as well as the president of the New York Thoroughbred Breeders, and some special friends here. We have Palmer, Charlie, and Wilds that made it right into the winner's circle. And Tom, I want to talk about your filly winning first time out and Satisfy. You campaigned a lot of her siblings as well, and they've been very good. Were you expecting this effort first time out from her?
You know, first time out, you don't know what to expect, and she's a year older, and she was ready, but this was a fabulous surprise. Yeah, this was great. It was great. It was great.
And how special is it when, I mean, obviously Rectify is one of her siblings, and you campaigned him for a bit too, and Sanctify.
Yeah.
How special is it when they all are successful like that?
It's cool. Well, you know, in this business, it's all about the mother. If you get a mare that produces winners, she usually continues to produce winners, and so we've always bred her to real good stallions like Pulpit and More Than Ready, and then this horse Candy Ride, and she deserves it. She gets a great, she gets runners.
And you always have a great group out here as well. Talk a little bit about Parting Glass Racing and kind of the experience you give to your partners at the track.
It's cool. You know, we try and get people into racing because we need owners, and owners are the most important people in the business. And it's just a lot of fun. You know, it's a lot of fun. People have fun. They come out to the races. Win, lose, or draw, we try and make it a real fun experience, you know.
Well, Tom, it was fun watching you guys in the winner's circle. Enjoy your win. Was satisfying.
Unbelievable. Thank you very much. Thank you. It was fabulous.
All big smiles here, Greg.
Well, as they should be. It looks like this is a filly that potentially could have a nice future ahead of her. Nice to win like that first time out. Makes you think what could be down the line. Sky's the limit.
Well, she's obviously a runner for Tom and no title number of years. And I just want to say, no doubt, owners are a part of the game. So are the bettors.
Absolutely. And where are the bettors going to put their money in the Kentucky Derby? Should they put it on a European this time around? We have a horse named Mendelssohn who will come into the Derby having won 3 in a row, including the UAE Derby on dirt, winning by over 18 lengths.
This is an unusual European runner because he's got a huge pedigree. He's a half into mischief, but more importantly, he's a half to beholder, who everybody knows. And while he's good on the turf, he's obviously very good in the dirt as well, which we saw in Dubai. He's a horse that's shipped. He's a horse that's had a variety of trips. He's been very tested. My biggest concern with him, there's 2. He rode a very strong rail to win here. He was unchallenged in there. He's unlikely to get that kind of trip in the Kentucky Derby. And Greg, can he come back from Dubai and win on just 5 days rest, 5 weeks rest, excuse me?
Yeah, making that trip, no telling what it can take out of a horse. We've not seen a lot of success with horses running in the UAE Derby coming to the Kentucky Derby. By the way, that Breeders' Cup juvenile turf has been the key race of all key races for horses on dirt coming back.
Yeah, it has been interesting.
But here it is. UAE Derby winners in the Kentucky Derby has not been good.
And listen, there are some good horses in there. Express Tour, Regal Ransom, some other horses as well. But this is the best one maybe of all.
And, by the way, you look at Thunder Snow. That's a horse who freaked out right out of the gate. I don't even think he ran more than 100 yards before his race was over. He's come back to show he's a very good horse. He won the Dubai World Cup.
No, I agree. That's not a name of some bums. There's some good horse in there. Mendelssohn does have a chance, though, to be better than any of them and might be an unusually good horse. That doesn't mean, though, he's going to win the Kentucky Derby. As you say, Thunder Snow won the Dubai World Cup, and in the elements, he bombed in Kentucky.
Well, let's go back to O'Neill's, get Paul LaDuca and Anthony Stabile's thoughts on the foreign invaders coming to Kentucky.
Thanks, Wolfie. And we do have one of the experts on the foreign ones, considering Muktahij is one of your favorite horses. And I know you fell in love, and I've fallen in love with him a little bit lately. But what do we do with this horse, Mendelssohn?
Yeah, hi, I'm Anthony, and I'm a Muktahij addict. You know, he comes in here a lot differently than any of his predecessors, right? He comes in with the gaudy pedigree. He's a half to one of the greatest racemares we're ever going to see in Beholder. He has that mile and 3/16 win. He's carried a ton of weight. He has the race in the U.S. We know he runs well on Lasix by way of that juvenile turf win. He's going to be the second choice. He's not going to get to the front in the Derby unless he pays the ultimate price on the front end. He's going to take dirt for the first time. A big field, one of the most wide-open bunches I can remember. I just think he's talented, no question. Taking that price, it's a tough pill to swallow at around 5 or 6 to 1.
Yeah, I'm with Anthony in this spot, guys. Here's the deal. So many great horses have come over here to try on dirt, and not just the Kentucky Derby, but the Kentucky Derby horses have not been close. The only ones that have really been close, let's be honest, the late, great Giants Causeway and Saki taking on the big boy and Tiz Now. If you think about it, does the one for 50-something Aidan O'Brien on dirt even hurt Mendelssohn worse?
Yeah, you know, I'm not the biggest stats guy in the world. Andy and I like to duke it out on talking horses over them sometimes, but I mean, it's not a good stat if you're looking to bet on this horse. And again, like I said, we talk about value. It's a 20-horse field. It's always one of the deepest races of the year. You really want to take 5 to 6 to 1 on a horse that has a lot of question marks. I don't.
Yeah, I'm with you. The horse has a lot of question marks, but Andy does make a great point. Pedigree of a champion.
2 words for you guys. Bold Arrangement, 1986. Actually ran second in the Derby coming in from Europe.
Yeah, ran second behind the mighty Ferdinand. So it's been done, not winning, but they've run well before.
Yeah, that's a long time ago. So not a
Doesn't
lot of
feel that
success.
long time ago.
Time for what's trending. There is going to be no Gronk, unfortunately, in the Kentucky Derby. We hope Rob Gronkowski, though, still shows up. Here's a tweet that Gronk set out. Unfortunate, Gronkowski, the horse, will not be able to race in the upcoming Kentucky Derby due to an illness. He spiked a fever. I fully support what is best for the horse. I know he will come back strong and healthy, and I'm excited to see him race again very soon, and that looks like it will be in the Belmont Stakes.
I have a question for you. If Rob Gronkowski and Gronkowski show up at Belmont Park, playing for the hated New England Patriots, will he get a good reception or not?
Oh, absolutely, because I believe a lot of his family, they live in New York. So they're,
and he's a popular guy.
Wherever he
I'm
goes.
just kidding. I mean, he's
he
a
brings
super
the party
popular
with
guy.
him.
Yeah, he's a super popular guy for good reason. He seems like he's just got a good sense of humor, doesn't he?
No, absolutely.
Perfect for this game. You need a sense of humor.
So we'll see. What do you think in terms of this horse making any kind of impact on the Triple Crown Trail? What do you think?
Who knows? I mean, he's never been on the dirt before. These are races on synthetic. They were against inferior horses. The likelihood that he's able to compete against this caliber of horse is extremely unlikely. But he's a horse that's bringing some attention to the game, and that's never a bad thing.
Never discount the power of Gronk behind a horse. Tickets on sale now for Belmont Stakes Racing Festival 150th anniversary. Catch all the action of New York's premier 3-day racing festival, June 7th through the 9th, featuring 150th running of the Belmont Stakes. The Belmont Stakes Racing Forward. Go to belmontstakes.com and get your tickets. We're going to take a break in the action. Much more to come here on opening weekend for Belmont Park, including our Derby thoughts. Just a week away.
Grade 1 winner Lee traveled the world competing against the best of his generation. A graded stakes winner on both dirt and turf, he set a new track record in the Grade 1 Don Handicap and retired with earnings of more than $2.3 million. With his much-anticipated first foals hitting the ground this year, the sky is the limit for this promising young stallion, Lee, at Claiborne Farm.
PlayPlus provides a fast and easy way to make deposits and cash out of your NyraBets account. Make purchases with your PlayPlus card everywhere Discover is accepted. Use your credit or debit card to fund PlayPlus with high approval rates. Easily transfer funds from PlayPlus directly into your NyraBets account. Enjoy instant withdrawals, no enrollment fees, and no monthly fees. Choose PlayPlus for easy deposits. Sign up for your PlayPlus account today at NyraBets.com.
You're watching Belmont Park Live. It's presented in part by Claiborne Farm. 100 years of doing the usual, unusually well. Feature race, the elusive quality still to come. And Claiborne Farm going to have a homebred by Warfront in that race in Commend, who's won a couple of times on the Belmont turf.
Oh, he's a talented runner as well, Commend.
Be trying for his first stakes victory in our feature later on this afternoon as we get a look at the field for our 8th race coming up.
Polar Jet is the horse to beat, the right favorite, but he does have a habit of finishing second lately.
Yeah, just beat a neck in the Stud Muffin and Aqueduct at a mile last time out. I'm going to send it downstairs now to Maggie Wolfendale with thoughts on a couple of runners, including Emancipation, the 2 for Shug McGahee. He's been off for a long time.
And Greg, he's also got a pretty nice pedigree, as well as he's a full brother to Orb, who Shug McGahee conditioned himself. I like what I see physically from Emancipation. He has grown up. He's a bigger, more solid, more strong individual than what I've seen from him in his past efforts. The problem is he's not much more mentally mature. He has been a handful, as you guys see, having trouble getting the jockey on. They had trouble getting the tack on. He, to me, is running his race before he even goes in the gate. And that's something that he did do in his previous 2 starts. He was fine when he debuted because he didn't know what was going on, and that day he won. Just a little concerned about how much energy he is expensing before he actually runs his race. Like I said, physically, I can't knock him at all, though. Moving on to your favorite, that is number 7, Polar Jet. I was a bit dubious about his chances going a mile, but he almost got the job done that day. He ran incredibly well. So therefore, I think the 7/8 is an absolutely perfect trip for Polar Jet, who looks sensational here, guys. He is a deserved favorite, at least in my eyes, here in the paddock.
Maggie, thank you. So Polar Jet, 6-5 favorite in here for Linda Rice. Irad Ortiz Jr. aboard.
I just think he's the horse to beat in this race by a lot, Greg. He's faster than these horses, and he found a mile a little too far for him last time. He was drifting badly in the stretch. I just feel like he's lost to better horses. Wonderful Light, who beat him 2 races back at Laurel, trained by Michelle Nevin, who we talked to earlier. That's a stakes quality performer.
4 for 4 on off tracks, and it wasn't off track. I'm sorry, I'm thinking of Eastern Bay, the start before that at Laurel. That's another pretty good one that he faced.
No, I agree. And even horses like Westwood, you see him losing to Wonderful Light before that. He's the horse to beat, but you do worry a little bit when a horse starts piling up the second-place finishes, especially at short prices.
Look at Ceratolto there, the 8, coming off back-to-back wins for trainer James Bond, son of Tisway.
And I'll tell you, Jimmy Bond's son, Kevin Bond, who's been deputizing for him all winter, has done an absolutely sensational job with their horses.
Don't forget, get sign up started. Play along with Naira Bets. Go to nairabets.com. New member bonus, $200 in your account by using that promo code LIVE. Punch that in to take advantage of that and play along with all the races we're showing you this afternoon and all summer long. Post parade coming up for race 8, 7 furlongs. Entry-level allowance. We'll start with the 2 who Maggie was talking about. Emancipation for Shug McGahee.
Huge pedigree, ran big first time outs. Jessica win off layoffs. Will he get enough pace to close into, though, Greg?
Off since July of last year. Here's Killybeg's captain has the rail for John Terranova.
It's been in good form for John Terranova, but he's facing a tougher group today.
All kinds of speed with the 3, Jewel Condisco, who 2 back was a winner at Aqueduct.
He'll try to wire the field. That's what he tries to do. Can he do it at 7 furlongs and against tougher?
Professor Snape, he loves it at Belmont. 2 wins in a second in 3 starts.
I think he's a big overlay at 18-1. My 3rd choice, actually, could put some pressure on Jewel Condisco.
Joe Bravo will ride 5 was a scratch. The 6 Salute with Honor Marcassi, Jose Lizcano team up.
He'll appreciate a cutback of a furlong from his last race, and to me, he's the biggest threat to the favorite.
And here is our favorite, the 7, Polar Jet, at even money right now with Irad Ortiz Jr.
From a speed figure standpoint, he's run 3 races in a row that are just faster than these.
And the 8 rounds out the field. Ceratolto on the outside, the son of Tisway for James Bond.
Can't get a better trip than he got last time, but the argument for him is he ran his best career race last time.
8th race coming up in just about 5 minutes. Next up, we'll hear from jockey David Cohen on his long road to recovery and his return to the New York racing scene.
Make Naira Bets your home for online horse racing and betting. Start earning your sign-up bonus right now. With NyraBets, you can use our state-of-the-art website to bet on live horse racing at over 200 tracks around the world. Bet anywhere, anytime, using your computer or mobile device. Earn valuable reward points on bets. Build your bankroll with our exclusive promotions and earn cash rebates. Sign up now at NyraBets.com and start earning your sign-up bonus now. NyraBets, racing's best play.
One of my dreams my whole life was, as a little kid, one day I'm going to have cookie dough. I'm just going to eat it all by itself. I'm not even going to cook it. Now you can do it. The dream comes true. Cookie dough confections in New York City, and they make it in ice cream form.
Yeah, I should probably stay away from there.
Oh, I am going to absolutely hit that up this summer. Over, under on how much weight I put on this summer.
My dream in life was to work with you, Greg, so really I pretty much have nothing left.
Show brought to you in part by Run Happy, the 2015 Sprint champion. He won 6 straight races, of course, including the Breeders' Cup Sprint in track record time. He's in legendary stall number 1 at Claiborne, formerly held by Secretariat.
And many other good horses.
Absolutely. All right, we're 3 minutes to post here in the 8th race. Coming up, the favorite remains Polar Jet, now 4 to 5 on the board. Very short price, Paul LaDuca.
Yeah, Greg Wolf. And by the way, with all the connections I have, I can't even get you into that cookie dough place. So you're going to have to wait in line. But let's talk about Polar Jet in here. I do have my selection on top of Polar Jet. But at 4 to 5, it's a little bit risky. This horse is a former $25,000 claimer. Linda Rice has done a tremendous job, even though David Knizzle was the one that claimed this colt by McLean's Music. She's done an amazing job with him. But has he plateaued? Last time in the stud muffin. Yeah, I still miss Tom Durkin calling stud muffin that. But, you know, as that horse plateaued a little bit, and at 4 to 5, I agree with Andy 100%. And I hate saying this, the 6 here is great value here at 5 to 1. I just need to know from Maggie Wolfendale, how does the 6 look off this little bit of a layoff?
Well, Paul, taking a look at your 6 horse in here, that Salute with Honor, he does look a little on the heavy side. I like that in horses. I like my big, solid, kind of burly men, but I wouldn't be surprised if he does need a start. He could run well here for Mark Casse, but I just want to kind of rewind and talk about number 2, Emancipation. As you heard me say, he was losing it a bit in the paddock, but I love what his rider, Jose Ortiz, did. He got out here to the track, he got away from the pony, and he put his hands down and let Emancipation 2-minute lick from about the finish line to all the way to the backside, and 2-minute lick is somewhere between a gallop and a breeze. It's about 15 seconds per eighth. And guys, he looked so good moving across this surface. I'm actually leaning more towards Emancipation running well off the layoff, given what I saw from him out on the track, Greg.
Well, we have a late scratch just being announced right now by track announcer Larry Colmus. The horse I actually liked in this race here, Sarah Tolto. He was coming off back-to-back wins. The 8 horse now out of the mix here in the 8th.
And keep in mind, the best thing that can happen to you if you bet a horse like that just gets scratched, because that horse was not winning. They're scratching it to protect the horse, protect the public, and protect everybody involved. We want these horses to run. So if you bet Saratalto, you should be glad you're getting your money back. And in the Naira Bets late pick 5 and the pick 4, you get the post-time favorite, who, of course, is the 7 Polar Jet.
So even money, Polar Jet, late scratch of the 8, Saratalto comes out. Meanwhile, let's go back to Emancipation for Shug McGahee. Hasn't raced since July of last summer, won first time out, however, and that third race of his career, he faced a horse who would go on to run in the Travers. Didn't do much in the Travers.
Didn't, and hasn't run well since, but is a half to Rachel Alexandra. I thought his second race was terrific. Absolutely no pace in that race going a mile, and he was running very strongly at the end. His debut was a race, though, that the pace did completely fall apart, and I think that helped his chances. And Shug, he brings him back slowly off a layoff. You see a stat like that, this isn't a knock on Shug McGahee. This is because Shug McGahee doesn't want him to run their biggest race off a layoff. He's trying to bring them back gradually. You don't get in the Hall of Fame because of stats like that. In a way you do, right? Because he doesn't want him to run their big race off a layoff. Right. He's got bigger things in mind. He's a good horse. Today just might not be the day.
And by the way, how far back is he going to be early on in this race?
He figures to be quite a ways back in here, and it's just not going to work in his favor. He's taken a lot of money. I think he's a bit overbet, but he's a talented horse.
Pace-wise in here, well, 7s across the board for you guys, all going with Polar Jet in this spot, who dips again below even money to 4 to 5.
Yeah, listen, I mean, he's carrying a lot of weight for a reason. He's the horse to beat. He's the fastest horse in the race. He keeps running fast races, and a mile was a little bit far for him, and you're going to see him drifting in the stretch. Greg, this reminded me of St. Liam and Ghost Zapper running down the stretch in the 2004 Woodward. They were drifting way out. In this case, he was St. Liam, and the other was Ghost Zapper.
Yeah, he would just miss to J.S. Bach, who, by the way, got a 102 buyer when he broke his maiden a few weeks before there, a couple of months before this, I should say. So a horse who can run some big numbers.
Oh, no, these are talented horses. You don't run those kind of consistent figures randomly. He's a fast horse, Polar Jet, and he's the horse to beat. 7 furlongs, a bit of a question. Is it a little far for him?
No, that is the big question mark in this race. Who can handle that 7 furlong distance? He just missed it a mile, now shortens up to 7. Maybe that's the key for him this afternoon.
And breaking outside, he figures to be in a good stalking position. The speed, in all likelihood, obviously the number 3 horse, Jewel Condisco. Professor Snape, I still think he's too big a price here right now. His form has been good lately.
He is the 4, yeah, and he likes this racetrack as well. 2 wins and a second and 3 starts.
And last time out, when he got placed first via DQ, the horse he hit the wire with came back with a huge race.
Here's the 8th. There's Polar Jet, the favorite, moving in. Let's send it upstairs to the voice of New York Racing, Larry Colmus with the call.
Polar Jet is in. They're all in line. They're off. Fast start by Jewel Condisco. Polar Jet away well. Killybeg's Captain broke 3rd to the inside. Professor Snape is out in 4th. And then it's Salute with Honor and Emancipation. Up the backstretch they go, and Jewel Condisco and Joel Rosario have grabbed the early lead here. They're on top by a length over Polar Jet in 2nd. Killybeg's Captain is 3rd on the inside. And then comes Professor Snape, 22.7 for the quarter. Salute with Honor races outside of horses, just 3.5 lengths behind, racing toward the half-mile pole. The trailer is Emancipation, who's kept well off the rail by Jose Ortiz as they round the far turn. Jewel Condisco is the leader. Polar Jet 3/4 of a length behind. Killybeg's Captain rides the rail around the turn. Then Salute with Honor, a 4-wide rally by Emancipation, who's closing up on the far outside. Professor Snape is now at the back of the pack as they come toward the top of the stretch. Still in pursuit of Jewel Condisco, 45.9 for the half. Here's Polar Jet rallying up on the outside. Jewel Condisco still there with a furlong to run and yet to be let loose here. Polar Jet to the outside is now 2 lengths behind. Professor Snape is next. Emancipation is dropped back. Then Killybeg's Captain, Jewel Condisco's made it look easy here. Jewel Condisco won it by 4 lengths over Professor Snape, Polar Jet, and Killybeg's Captain in 123.22.
Jewel Condisco, speed of the field, puts this group away late. 3-4-7 finish.
Put him to sleep with moderate fractions, not particularly slow. The favorite had no excuse sitting outside of him. He had no answer. And Jewel Condisco, well, this was a terrific effort. Maybe he's a horse that loves Belmont Park because his prior best effort was right here at Belmont Park.
Yeah, broke his maiden here by more than 8 lengths in his 4th career start. And when he got tackled here by some runners, he found another gear.
I mean, Joel Rosario was like a statue on him. They weren't really riding the 7 Polar Jet either, but he had no answer, and this was a laugher.
5-1 from a 10-1 morning line. Paul, late in this race, there was no question about it. It was all Jewel Condisco.
Yeah, it's amazing when you have a 4 to 5 shot coming up to the leader, and the leader is in a canter. But you go back and you look at Jewel Condisco, the lone 7 furlong race. I always like to go back and look when I don't like a horse and the horse wins. Lone 7 furlong race was at Saratoga, was able to win. And that means to me, whenever Jewel can just clear like he did today with an easy lead, he was gone. And a great ride by Joel Rosario, basically an armchair ride.
By one of my favorite sprinters of all time, his sire Disco Rico. And Jewel Condisco gets the job done here. 5-1 even money favorite beat here in the Naira Bets late pick 5 and the pick 4 sequence prices. When we come back, we're going to take a break. Next up, the elusive Quality can commute. Repeat his previous success on the turf at Belmont. The feature coming up next.
Mastery retired undefeated, winning his 4 starts by a combined 20 lengths. A 6-figure September sale purchase, he won impressively in his 2-year-old debut at Santa Anita. From there, he captured the Grade 3 Bob Hope Stakes and completed his juvenile campaign with a dominant performance in the Grade 1 Los Alamitos Futurity. At 3, the top-rated son of Candy Ride sizzled in the San Felipe, running a 105 buyer and winning by open lengths. Mastery, new for 2018 at Claiborne Farm.
Jewel Condisco runs away from this group late and gets the job done. His 4th career win in 10 starts. Trained by Gary Gullo. Joel Rosario with his 2nd win today.
Yeah, Joel, it's nice to see him back in town. He's been in Florida, and then he went to Keeneland. Had a great meet at Keeneland with 15 wins and his 2nd win, and this was an easy one.
Standing by with a winning trainer, let's go downstairs to Maggie.
Here in the winner's circle with Gary Gullo, winning conditioner of Jewel Condisco. And Gary, is this a matter of a horse for course?
You know what, he is. He's a horse that loves Belmont, and he likes to have a nice, easy lead and relax. And, you know, he finished good today. It was very good.
And he also has a nice rapport with his jockey, Joel Rosario. Talk a little bit about Joel's style and how it fits Jewel Condisco.
You know what, he relaxes him, I think, better, and they get along good together. You know, he's got good hands, and he just kind of relaxes, and, you know, and he makes him finish nice.
And this is a New York bred. I mean, do you look at New York bred stakes now that he's won this other than open condition?
Well, I was thinking about the stake the other day, yesterday, I think it was, but I figured this would be a little easier and then kind of stepping stone up, so.
Well, he's certainly fast, and he uses it to his advantage. Congratulations here, Gary.
Thank you very much.
All right, Greg.
Maggie, thank you. So Jewel Condisco 5-1 here in race 8 as we get set for our feature coming up. Here's the Naira Bets late pick 5 follow along. Close to $90,000 in that pool. We have our biggest price in the sequence so far.
Yeah, and keep in mind, if you use this horse in the pick 5 or the pick 4, The post-time favorite, when Serratalto scratched, that horse gets lower. This horse is probably more like a $16 horse in those multi-race bets. So good price and good luck if you're alive, because you're alive for a good payout no matter who wins.
And these last two legs,
they're
not easy by any stretch of the imagination.
No, not at all. This race is absolutely wide open.
We're going to talk more three-year-olds right now. A week away from the Kentucky Derby, we talked about the European Invaders. We have not heard Maggie Wolfendale's thoughts on Mendelssohn. She's going to kick things off with what she thinks about the Euro Invader for Aidan O'Brien.
I like him, Greg. I think Mendelssohn is going to be the European who breaks the curse. This is probably the most talented horse that we've seen coming to the Kentucky Derby from the European trainers, and for the best in the world in Aidan O'Brien. The juvenile, Breeders' Cup Juvenile Turf that he won, as you guys mentioned, is a key race, and he was coming back off that 3 weeks rest from his race at Ascot. So he can ship off 5 weeks. I have no problem with that. He's bred to be a champion. He was bought to be a sire. They paid $3 million for this runner with that pedigree. Into mischief, well, his half-brother, he has a runner in the Kentucky Derby. So I like Mendelssohn. Andy, who do you like?
It's not a question who I like. I'm a naysayer. I don't want to tell you who I like. They're drawing the Kentucky Derby on Tuesday. I'll take a very careful look after the post positions are out. But there's a horse that I know I'm not going to be betting on, and that's Magnum Moon. I do not like the way he ran in his last race, not only because he drifted in the stretch, but he also did not move forward from a speed figure standpoint off his win in the Rebel. And I want horses that are improving. And to me, I think he's plateaued. Do I think Magnum Moon's a good horse? He absolutely is a good horse. But I don't think he's going to be at all successful in this Kentucky Derby. And if he hits the board, I'm not likely to cash too many tickets. No Magnum Moon for me.
We'll see if Paul LaDuca has a different take on the same horse. He's going to talk a little Magnum Moon as well. What do you think, Paul?
Well, I'm going to go to Anthony Stabile first before I go back to Magnum Moon, because you have a pretty big stand in this race. Just Andy's taking a stand against Magnum Moon. Who's your stand?
Yeah, I'm going to take the biggest stand of all, I think. I'm against Justify next Saturday in Kentucky. 14 horses combined in his career is all he's faced. He gets to see 19 of them next Saturday in Louisville. You know, he's had great trips. He was on the lead in 2 of his starts, including that Santa Anita Derby last time out. 2 starts back in the allowance race. He was able to just boss those horses around from the 3-hole. He's going to be in a crowd. He's going to take some dirt. Look, maybe he's just that good. He draws outside and he big browns them and just gallops them into the ground. But at 2-1, he's going to have to show me a little bit more. 4 races in 77 days, 1.25 miles, not for me. I'm going to pitch Justify and hope for the best next Saturday.
You're also going to pitch a couple other favorites in here, too, as well.
Yeah, I don't like Mendelssohn, and I don't like Magnum Moon. I'm with Andy with Magnum Moon. I don't like the drifting. You know, it's not about the Apollo curse that much for me. It's about having the experience in a short amount of time. These guys haven't been in training that long, namely Justify. They haven't been in training that long. You know, whereas a horse like Big Brown, who won the Derby, yeah, he only had 3 starts, but he started up on Labor Day weekend. He had that experience of being to the races. These horses don't have that.
Well, I like Magnum Moon just because these 2 guys don't like Magnum Moon. The horse is a mortal lock. And Wolfie, how can you knock a horse that's undefeated and has won at 3 different racetracks? And the reason why he's drifting, he's winning by too many lengths. So you're criticizing him for that. Magnum Moon by a pole.
That's a good point. He's probably drifting because he's wondering when everybody went because they're so far behind him. So look at David Cohen, by the way. We're going to have more on him coming up in just a moment. Tremendous to see him back riding out of the game for 3.5 years. He had a freak accident back in February of 2014, expected to be out 8 weeks. Personal loss and injury, though, kept him out for a long time. Maggie Wolfendale caught up with him.
David, a journeyman jockey once told me it's not about if you're going to get hurt, but when you get hurt. But for you, it was a little bit of an interesting circumstance. Talk a little bit about what happened and your road to recovery.
Yeah, you know, it's funny you put it that way. For me, it was not if I was going to return, it was just a matter of when. You know, the road to recovery took a little bit longer just for some personal reasons. Losing my father and my sister, it was, you know, a little tougher on me than the actual injury. The injury held up well. And, you know, just happy to make it back safe. And I think anyone that is in this game and has to take a pause and is away from it for any amount of time, especially for a couple of years like I was, it was great just to be around the horses and to get back in the winner's circle. It just felt, you know, tremendous again and just like old times. And, you know, it was an amazing opportunity to ride for a few people, especially Robertino Diodoro at Oaklawn. And it was a very strategic move made by my agent, Bill Castle, just to return there, knowing that we would have a lot of support and just an opportunity from the owners and trainers.
And it's good to see you back with Billy Castle. I'm sure that's part of the reason you're back here in New York, a place where you've had a lot of success. You've dead heated and won the Travers. I read an article said that you followed instructions absolutely to a T.
Golden Ticket, you know, it was just a very nice rail trip. For it to work out well, it was just a blessing, really.
Oh, it was fun to watch you in that winner's circle.
Definitely. And, you know, for Kenny and the owners are such a great group of guys. To get that type of win for them and for them to give us the opportunity, it really meant that much more.
And it's quite remarkable. Being away for so long, you've really built up your momentum in such a short period of time coming back to riding races.
You know, for us, it's really no really set goals. We want to focus, ride hard, show people the different person and the dedication, the hard work, and, you know, really just try to get the opportunities.
David, it's good to see you back, and best of luck.
Very good. Thank you for having me.
Well, it's great to see him back. As you take a look at him there, he's been through a lot. He lost his father, Maury, who he said we were as close as could be. His father went everywhere with him when he traveled in the game. And then 18 months later, lost his older sister. They were very close. He said he was really, even though he was younger, he was the big brother. So injuries, all that personal loss as well, and he is back and doing something he loves again.
Nice to have him back in New York, and you're right about his dad. His dad was the track almost every day. He was an absolute regular.
We're going to take a break in the action. David Cohen, can he get a win in the feature? The elusive qualities on Great Stuff, graded stakes winner on dirt, making his turf debut next.
Make NyraBets your home for online horse racing and betting. Start earning your sign-up bonus right now. With NyraBets, you can use our state-of-the-art website to bet on live horse racing at over 200 tracks around the world. Bet anywhere, anytime, using your computer or mobile device. Earn valuable reward points on bets. Build your bankroll with our exclusive promotions and earn cash rebates. Sign up now at NyraBets.com and start earning your sign-up bonus now. NyraBets, racing's best play.
Bayern turning for home in front. Coast of New York on the outside. California Chrome is third. Shared Belief laboring back there in fifth. 1 furlong to run. Bayern, Coast of New York. California Chrome on the outside. The three of them come to the wire. Bayern, Coast of New York. California Chrome. Here's the finish. Bayern, Bayern holds on. is Elusive Quality, grabbing a short lead from Bristling at the 8th pole. 3.5 lengths back. On the outside, Optic Nerve. A late run from Fortitude, who's moving too late. They're coming to the finish. It's Elusive Quality and a stubborn Bristling. Elusive Quality wins it by a head.
As Elusive Quality is winning the 1998 Jaipur, a horse who started out as a very good dirt horse and then became very good on the grass.
No, I mean, he's a 3-year-old. He finished in a photo with Honor and Glory in the King's Bishop up in Saratoga with Distorted Humor behind him. Belmont, we were all a little younger back there, and Jerry Bailey rode him, but it was on the turf where he really shined. Huge wins in our Jaipur at 7 furlongs and then setting a track record in the 1-mile poker at Belmont.
Appropriate, too, on the day that we have the Elusive Quality. We saw Belmont win earlier on the card. As we get a look at the field, 7 furlongs on the turf. It's on the Widener turf course. Rail is out 9 feet. And it's undrafted, the Wes Welker runner on NFL Draft Weekend, who right now is 7-2, your favorite.
There was a time when he would have been the horse to beat. That time has passed, and he was always better going a little bit shorter, 5 to 6 furlongs. 7 is a stretch for him, especially in his current form against a field as tough as this one.
Well, undrafted coming in off the bench. He's won off a layoff before. We're going to check in now with Maggie and a paddock report. It's brought to you by Hillendale Farm, standing Kitten's Joy sire of number 9, Conquest Panthera.
And Greg, he's going to have to win off the bench once again without me. I don't like the looks of undrafted coming back here because more than half of the field outside of him, and the horse to the inside of him for that matter, look better than he. This horse has absolutely no shine, no richness to his coat whatsoever. It's long, it's dry, it's dull. He looks pretty fit overall. I'm probably putting him right in the winner's circle by saying this, but he's going to do it without me, because if you're going to judge horses by the way they look, and yes, looks aren't anything, I would much prefer taking the 9-year-old comeback horse on the outside in Carafa. The venerable New York bred ran pretty credibly last year and 2 years ago in this race, and I think he might look better than ever. I mean, his coat, his muscle mass, he looks strong. He's always a horse that gets himself revved up, and he's really nicely on the bridle. I love Carafa, and I'm hoping he runs well here for his connections and for the horse himself, because he's given us a lot of thrills watching him over the years in the New York bred races and when he shows up against open company. So for me, of the layoff runners, it's Carafa, guys.
9 years old now and coming back for more. We'll see if he still has more left in the tank. He's actually second in this race last year, 7-1 on the board.
He's the kind of horse you always have to root for.
Fan favorite for sure, Carafa. For Timothy Hills, Joe Bravo will be aboard. Can he get it done after his second in this race last year? We'll find out in a few minutes.
International Super Sire Warfront. Among his 34 stakes horses in 2017 were Grade 1 winners American Patriot, Avenge, Roly-Poly, Warflag, and Europe's champion 2-year-old colt, U.S. Navy Flag. Last year, Warfront was the nation's #1 sire in multiple categories. In the sales ring, his yearlings continue to bring prices well over $1 million. Warfront, standing at Claiborne Farm.
Back on Belmont Park Live, and our feature is coming up. The elusive quality, 7 furlongs on the turf. Here comes our post parade. We will start things off with Blind Ambition. John Velasquez rides for Todd Pletcher.
This would be a step up for him, but he's not an untalented runner. John Velasquez needs to use his speed out of the gate.
Only trying the Belmont turf was a win for the son of Tappet. The 2, undrafted for Wes Welker, who was undrafted himself, a grade 2 winner.
No, Maggie and I are 2 for 2 getting horses in the winner's circle. We might as well get this one in the winner's circle. Might be a little long for him at 7 furlongs.
8-year-old debut. Here's the 3, Ready for Rye for Tom Albertrani.
You know, if this is a horse that had only run on the turf and we weren't distracted by his dirt races, he might even be a shorter price.
Great stuff. David Cohen, his comeback continues here on this 6-year-old by Quality Road. Never been on the grass.
Very good dirt horse with no turf pedigree.
Commute is the 5 Jose Lezcano. Mark Cassie, the morning line favorite.
He is the horse to beat if he can run back to his best races. Can he do it?
Well, his win on the turf, it was here at 7 furlongs at Belmont. Great wide open, the 6. Manny Franco for Connor Murphy.
Great rider change off a tough trip at Aqueduct. A sleeper to price.
Group 2 winner on the turf, Field of Courage. That came at Woodbine in the Arctic.
He did it on soft turf. That worries me, but he's sneaky at a price, too. Another contender.
It's the Claiborne and Adele Dilschneider, homebred, son of Warfront, Commend at 12-1.
Has a very good race going on the turf at Belmont, going back some. His recent form a little questionable.
Conquest Panthera, second off a layoff for trainer Mark Cassie, son of Kitten's Joy.
He's going to really appreciate cutting back a furlong and going around one turn.
And the 9-year-old fan favorite in New York, Carafa with Joe Bravo aboard.
You got to love Carafa, the old pro. Over $1 million in earnings, and he can run well in here. Can he work out the right trip from his outside post, Greg?
We shall find out shortly as we get a look at Commend there, the son of Warfront. Trained by Bill Mott. Jose Ortiz looking for a 3rd win this afternoon.
And even before Claiborne was such a fine sponsor for our show, I was always a sucker for these Claiborne horses. They're all so well-bred.
So look at Warfront on the farm. It's become one of the top international sires in the world, standing for $25,000 at Claiborne.
Not a bad life, Greg, being a stud. Run around the field.
Incredible, isn't it?
Yeah. Not bad.
But you want to be in the action. You want to be at the racetrack.
I do. He can't bet there. If he had an Ira Betts account, then I'd be fine. I could be a horse.
He may. We don't know that that's not true. So there's a look at Commend. 12-1 on the board. We're going to send it back to O'Neill's and check in with the guys.
Thanks, Wolfie. And if you need an Ira Betts account, just come over to O'Neill's here in Queens, and they'll give you a free $20. And with that free $20, if you sign up today, because I already know you have an account, Anthony, who would you bet in this race? It's a tough race.
I like Undrafted today. I feel like Wesley Ward's got him cranked. Remarkable feat at Keeneland, 10 consecutive 2-year-old races. I feel like he's got the old boy ready today. I think the rain we got yesterday, which has left this course labeled good, is going to help him with his big late run. I like Undrafted today.
I'm going to end up on the 5 in here. I know it's not a sexy pick with Commend. I kept going between that runner and Conquest Panthera. I just think that he sits in a good spot and he can get the job done. But I want to give a big shout out to everybody here at O'Neill's, the hospitality that they gave us, from everybody here at Naira as well that showed up. It's been an awesome day, and this is what happens. Don't forget next week, Friday, the Big A. Give the details again.
Naira Betts party here. Derby seminar Friday night. We'll start around 6 o'clock. Come on out. O'Neill's and Maspeth will be in the back room. Hopefully we have some winners for you for the Kentucky Derby. And the undercard should be a great evening here at O'Neill's.
So Greg and Andy, we leave you with this.
We knew that was coming. It took this long, huh?
Well, we've been drinking up here. It's not like we haven't had a few pops.
We have our
during
own
the
craft
show.
beer festival, guys, so touche. Undrafted for me, I mean, his best races have come at 5.5 furlongs, it seems like.
Yeah, I'm surprised that Anthony likes him in here, to be honest with you. He wants to go less distance at his best. He's won going longer, but not in his best races, but I don't think he's good enough in his current form.
Meanwhile, there's a look at Commute, one of 2 in here from Mark Cassie, and he comes off that 5.5 on the soft turf at Keeneland.
Yeah, he labored in that race last time at Keeneland, and it was a very strong field as well. He finished the wire with Disco Partner. This was his good race in the Connaught Cup when he just missed winning by a nose behind Tower of Texas.
At 7 furlongs.
Yeah, this was a very strong field, and if he can get back to this effort, the question is, has he run his best race in Canada? But he has run well at Belmont Park, winning at 7 furlongs with a 99 Beyer speed figure.
He's 7-2. He is your favorite, but that shows you how wide open this race is. Very mild 7-2 favorite. Next door to him, great wide open. He'll cut back in distance a furlong.
I'm a sucker for Tom Petty horses, and he was named for the Tom Petty horse song, I guess. His last race, he had significant trouble. Eliminated the break, a speed horse back to last, rank up to the field, ran up towards the leaders. The pace collapsed. He actually ran very well, and I think he's going to appreciate this cut back in distance, and the rider switch to Manny Franco is gigantic.
Let's get Maggie's thoughts as well as we get set for a load here in our feature. Maggie?
Into the great wide open. Not going to do that for you ever again, but I like this horse here. He is cutting back in distance. I think the 7-8 suits him well. He is a horse that gets a bit headstrong, so if he can find some cover beneath Manny Franco today, I think that would be ideal. Just kind of sitting in that second rank of horses as he turns back from the danger's hour, and he looks fantastic for his connections. A horse to his outside as well has also caught my eye. Now, Field of Courage has won a graded stakes, albeit up in Canada on a very soft turf course. But this turf course does have some juice in it, does have some moisture in it. So I think that's going to aid any chance that he may have. He looks sensational for Rudy Rodriguez as he sits at 20-1. And I caught up with Rudy and asked him, well, why did you claim this horse? He said, purely for the turf. I want to win a stake with him up at Saratoga. I said, those are pretty lofty expectations, Rudy, but he's pretty confident in his charge here. We'll see how he does at the 7-8s here, but I like what I saw. I'm going to go with him at a big price, Greg.
I sense a karaoke night with Maggie happening later this summer.
LaDuca and Stabile are drinking. I'm a little worried about Maggie as well with that song, but karaoke night.
We're going to make her sing all the time now on this show. Loading up for the elusive qualities. We take a look at the selections. You and Paulie both going with Commute.
I just want to know if Maggie's going to sing a little more for us.
If her horse wins, I think we have to make her sing again. That's the deal.
I cannot sing again. I can only do like classic rock songs. Throw one out there and I'll do it for you.
Gonna hold you to that. All right, it is Commute for Mark Cassidy, the one to beat. In the elusive quality, let's send it upstairs to the voice of the Triple Crown, Larry Colmus with the call.
Great stuff moving into the starting gate now. And the last couple of runners to go in will be Commute and Carafa. Commute goes into the starting gate. Carafa will be the last one here. The 9-year-old under Joe Bravo taking that outside post. Goes in. They're all in line. They're off in the elusive quality. Ready for Rye comes rambling out of the gate, along with Blind Ambition on the inside. These two go at it early on with Commute to their outside. So it's 3 of them across the track early on, clear of Field of Courage. Commend is next, and then Great Wide Open to the inside. 2.5 to Conquest Panthera, undrafted to the inside. Great stuff. And Carafa's last 12 lengths off the lead up the backstretch. Blind Ambition is the leader through a 22.24 quarter. Commute is running in second. Ready for Rye is taken back to third to sit 3 off the lead, racing for the far turn. Then it's Field of Courage fourth on the inside, followed by Commend and Great Wide Open. After that, Conquest Panthera. Carafa's 3 wide and 7 off the lead right now. At the back of the field are Great Stuff and Undrafted. They make their way around the far turn. 45.09 the half mile. And Blind Ambition and John Velasquez take them to the top of the stretch in front. Commute on the outside, right up alongside in second. Ready for Rye. Comes up to them 3 deep in third, and Commend is there on the far outside. Blind Ambition down to the 8th pole. Something left here. A 2-length lead coming to mid-stretch. Conquest Panthera is closing on the far outside. Ready for Rye is third, but it's Blind Ambition. Blind Ambition still going strong down to the line. Gonna win it by 2.5 over Conquest Panthera. Undrafted came late for third, and fourth was Ready for Rye in 1 minute 20.65.
Sharp final time, 1:20.3 is Blind Ambition. Takes the elusive quality. 2 today for John Velasquez.
Runs his record in the Belmont turf to 2 for 2. He likes it here, and he set an honest pace in there. The favorite sitting outside of him had no answer in the stretch, but Blind Ambition, he had every answer here. This is a very big win and a step forward for this horse for trainer Todd Fletcher, and his horses are running very well these days heading towards the Derby.
Very positive sign as we get set for the first Saturday in May. 1-9-2-3 finish. Blind Ambition was 12-1. Morning line goes off at 5-1.
I'm shocked. I mean, to me, he's a gigantic underlay at 5-1, but running down the stretch, he looked like a gigantic overlay if he'd 8-5.
Big performance here coming in from Gulfstream. Again, 2 today for Velasquez. And you see running in second there, Conquest Panthera second off the bench for Mark Cassidy. It's his other horse who runs the better race.
Well, he appreciated the cut back in distance. He actually ran very well because nobody else really closed that well in here. It's a good performance, but the winner was much the best.
Absolutely. For Gainesway, Stable, Son of Tappet, Blind Ambition, your winner of the Elusive Quality. Quick break, and we'll be back right after this.
NyraBet's your home for online horse racing and betting. Start earning your sign-up bonus right now. With NyraBets, you can use our state-of-the-art website to bet on live horse racing at over 200 tracks around the world. Bet anywhere, anytime, using your computer or mobile device. Earn valuable reward points on bets. Build your bankroll with our exclusive promotions and earn cash rebates. Sign up now at NyraBets.com and start earning your sign-up bonus now. NyraBets, racing's best play.
Back on Belmont Park Live, Gainesway Stable. Winning Silks of the Elusive Quality. Blind Ambition gets the job done. Son of Tappet for Todd Fletcher. 2 today for John Velasquez.
Yeah, this horse ran huge. The Dam Starship Bay was quite a turf sprinter for Todd Fletcher as well. So is Blind Ambition.
1-9-2-3, but it's Blind Ambition, your winner. With more, let's go downstairs to Maggie.
Standing by with assistant to Todd Fletcher, Byron Hughes. And Byron, did you think that Blind Ambition was going to secure the lead that easily going into this race?
Well, we were hoping to break Shark coming from the one hole. There wasn't a whole lot of speed in the race. You saw that. So when he broke well, that really helped Johnny out. And Johnny did a great job on the front end for us.
And he's a horse that has shown ability at all distances. But do you feel as though that sprints are really his thing?
I think 6.5, 7, a mile right in that area, I think is right up his alley.
Byron, I have to put you on the spot as we're a week away from the Derby. Which of the 4 Fletcher runners do you like the most?
I think they all have a good shot. They've all done nothing wrong, and it seems like they're all peaking at the right time, so I don't have a...
Okay, PC answer. You worked with Audible, though.
I worked with Audible, and I've actually saddled Magnum Moon in Arkansas, and I saddled in Noble Indy in Louisiana, so I've been around them all, and they've all seemed very classy animals, so see how it unfolds.
All right, well, wishing you the best of luck. Congrats to you, though.
Thank you.
Guys?
Maggie, thanks. Playing it close to the vest for the Derby. We will see what happens. Of course, a lot will depend on post-position draw, but no doubt about Blind Ambition here in the Elusive Quality. Big-time performance, 1:20.3 the final time. Turns $12.40. Let's take a look at that late pick 5 follow-along. Another big mid-range number, but that's all you need, really. A few of those, and we've seen what the payouts can be in the pick 5.
Well, we'll have a carryover, a big carryover if the 3 or 7 wins near. The heavy favorite, the 1, almost $4,000. I mean,
smallest payout.
We didn't have one big price in the entire sequence. It just shows the value.
That is the smallest payout in the sequence to the 1,
too.
almost $4,000. Incredible. We're back. We have our next show on May 12th. That's the Man of War Racing Festival. And then May 16th, throughout the rest of the summer, Belmont and into Saratoga. We're basically here every step of the way.
Can't wait till you move into your home at Belmont Park. My favorite moments of the year, Greg.
It's going to be fun. I might live blog from my track. I'm going to actually be living on site here at the track.
So anybody in the track can come by and visit Greg at any time.
Well,
he
let's
loves
not go that far.
Guests at night, especially.
It's so not true. But we could be careful because we could make a little trip into Manhattan to see Andy Serling as well. We look forward to seeing you on May the 12th. And, of course, all throughout Saratoga as well. But we're going to deal with this Belmont racing meet, and we're looking forward to it. Tremendous opening weekend here at Big Sandy. We had great weather as well. And, of course, want to thank everybody out at O'Neill's for a tremendous afternoon. I think Paulie and Anthony partaking of more craft beers out there, so I think they've left the facilities.
They're on their 4th beer by now.
There it is, May 12th. We'll see you from 4 to 6, Man of War Racing Festival. Blind Ambition, your winner of our feature race, the Elusive Quality, Todd Pletcher, John Velasquez, and Gainesway Stable. Get it done in the big race here on this Saturday afternoon. We'll see you on the 12th. Enjoy the rest of your weekend, everyone. Thanks for watching.